What if a family secret was so dark it couldn't actually be buried, that it could only be inherited? Tonight, we descend into the Kasane-ga-fuchi. It's this deep, dark pool in a Japanese river.
A place where the dead, well, they don't rest.
Exactly. And their grudges are passed down, father to son, mother to daughter.
Yeah, we're diving into Kasane-ga-fuchi, and it's really foundational for Japanese horror. It's not just one single ghost story either.
Right. More like a confluence.
Kind of, yeah. A narrative stream that's twisted and turned over centuries. It shifts, from this local folk tale about justice to this really intense psychological drama.
And that evolution, that's what we're focusing on today. Our goal for you is to unpack the two main versions. They're quite distinct, actually.
Very. One is all about generational karma, this idea of blood debt.
And the other?
The other is more about communal cruelty. Social responsibility, or the lack of it.
So we'll trace it from the Edo period, see how a legendary storyteller modernized it, and how it's still popping up in film and manga today. You'll get a real sense of that Japanese onrai, the vengeful spirit.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's start with the version most people might know, the really dramatic one. It's been adapted a lot.
The epic one.
Built on that idea of inescapable karma, or inga. So tell us about the original sin here. We're in the late Edo period.
That's right. It all kicks off with a samurai, Fukami Shinzemon. Now, he's high rank, but like a lot of samurai back then, he's basically broke.
Ah, the classic status versus cash problem.
Exactly. He's deep in debt to a blind masseur who's also a moneylender, a guy named Soetsu. And when Soetsu comes asking for his money, Shinzemon's pride just snaps.
And he does the unthinkable.
He murders him. An act of violence born out of class tension, desperation, pride.
Wow. And the body, this is where the location comes in, right? The Kasane-ga-fuchi?
Yes. He dumps Soetsu's body into that deep river pool, the kind of place where things and people just disappear.
But not their grudges.
Definitely not. Soetsu unleashes this dying curse just before he sinks. And the onrise, the vengeful spirit, it doesn't waste any time.
How quickly?
Pretty fast. The ghost drives Shinzemon mad. He ends up killing his own wife, mistaking her for something else, presumably.
Oh, man.
And then he follows, drowning himself in the very same pool. The Fuchi. Swift, brutal, wipes out that generation.
But the horror isn't over, is it? It's the curse itself that gets passed on.
That's the terrifying part. You have the orphan kids left behind. Shinkichi, who's the murderer's son.
And Rui, the victim's daughter.
Right. And in this awful twist of fate, they grow up completely unaware of the connection, and they fall deeply in love.
Oh, that's just cruel. Set up for disaster.
It's the ultimate doomed romance. Their love is basically designed to continue the cycle of violence, and the curse, it doesn't even wait for the next generation fully. It infects Shinkichi.
The son of the killer.
Yeah. He becomes unfaithful to Rui. They fight, and in the heat of it, he grabs a bachi, the pick for playing the shamisen.
Yeah.
And he accidentally slashes her face.
That scar, it's more than just a wound, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's the physical mark of the curse. It brands Rui as this figure of eternal suffering, the wronged woman.
And does she?
She eventually dies. Some versions say from the wound, others heartbreak, but her spirit comes back as an onrai, and she is powerful.
Okay.
She even leaves a letter warning Shinkichi, marry again, and I'll come back to kill your new wife. Named Zoisa.
Does he listen? Does he try to avoid it?
He tries, but you can't escape this kind of fate. Rui's ghost drives him mad, just like his father. He mistakes Oisa for Rui.
Oh, no.
And kills her brutally with a scythe.
God. So the Inga, this karmic debt, it just keeps going.
It completes the cycle.
Yeah.
And the sources are clear. Any child Shinkichi might have is born with that same horrifying scar. The debt is literally written on their faces. You can't outrun it.
That intense focus on family, on inherited guilt, that's the heart of this dramatic version.
Exactly. But what's so fascinating is there's this other version, much older probably, a folk tale. And it shifts the blame entirely. Away from the family, onto the community itself.
Right, you mentioned this. It's less about high-ranking samurai trauma and more about everyday cruelty.
Precisely. In this older story, the first murder isn't a samurai killing a moneylender, it's a farmer, Yuan, and he murders his stepson, Suke.
Why?
Because Suke is described as malformed, disfigured. Yeoman kills him and dumps him in the Fuchi.
The same place.
Always the same place. But here's the twist. Yeoman's daughter is later born with the exact same deformities as the murdered stepson.
Whoa, okay, instant karma.
Maybe, but the villagers, they refuse to see her as just a person. They decide Suki's grudge must have sort of piled up or overlapped onto her.
Is that where the name comes from?
That's it. They forced the name Kasane on her, which means to pile up or overlap. The community is actively part of her suffering here. They're judging her, ostracizing her based on how she looks and this perceived curse.
So the horror is prejudice first, ghost second.
And then this greedy outsider, Yogoro, shows up. He marries Kasane, but only for her land. He doesn't care about her.
Let me guess, he kills her too.
Brutally. In the river, of course. But the key part in this version is that villagers see it happen. Multiple witnesses.
And they do nothing.
Nothing. They turn a blind eye. They'd already decided Kasane was, disposable.
That's chilling. So the ghost, when Kasane returns, she's not just after Yogoro.
No. This is about social justice. She possesses Yogoro's daughter-in-law, Kiku.
Yeah.
Uses her voice.
To do what?
To publicly expose Yogoro, yes, yeah. But then she calls out every single villager who stood by and watched her die. Names them.
Wow. Public shaming by ghost.
Pretty much. And she demands they hold this huge memorial service for her. It's atonement for their collective failure, their silence.
So you have these two powerful stories from the same core idea.
Exactly. The dramatic one. Personal, about Inga, inescapable family fate. The folktale. Sociological, a critique of community, prejudice, and collective guilt. Very different fears being tapped into.
Let's ground this a bit. These stories feel so tied to place. We keep mentioning the Kasane-ga-fuchi. Where exactly is this spot?
It's specified as Hanyu in Shimosa Province. That's northeast of modern-day Tokyo. Giving it a real-world anchor makes the curse feel closer somehow.
And the Fuchi itself, the deep pool, you said it's more than just part of a river in folklore.
Yeah, these deep spots, these Fuchi, are often seen as liminal zones, thresholds.
What does that mean for people trying to picture this? Like a doorway?
Kind of. Think of the river surface as our world, the physical world, the Utsushio. But the dark bottom of that pool, that's like the doorstep to the spirit world, the Yomi.
So the veil between life and death is thin there?
Extremely thin. It makes perfect, terrifying sense that a curse born there just refuses to stay buried. It can easily cross back over.
And didn't the sources mention another river nearby? With a rather intense name?
Ah, yes. The Kinugawa River. Its name literally means angry demon river. Seriously. Before it was tamed by modern engineering, it was known for violent, unpredictable floods. So, setting a story about uncontrollable rage, generational vengeance, right next to the angry demon river.
It's like the landscape itself reflects the inner turmoil.
Exactly. The environment echoes the theme.
Okay, I want to go back to that dramatic version, the samurai one, in the late Edo period. That murder of Soetsu by Shinzaemon. It wasn't just random violence, right? It felt like something bigger was at play.
Oh, absolutely crucial context. By the 19th century, the samurai class, despite their high status, were often in real financial trouble.
Right, the fixed stipends.
Yeah. He ate in rice, which lost value. They had status, but no cash. So they ended up borrowing heavily from merchant and moneylender classes, people like Soetsu, whom they officially looked down upon.
So Shinzaemon killing Soetsu isn't just personal rage. It's like the fury of a whole class being economically crushed and humiliated.
You've nailed it. It's violence fueled by social collapse, by wounded pride meeting financial ruin. It helps you understand the sheer desperation behind that first terrible act.
And the result of that act, ultimately, is Kasane, or Rui in this version, becoming this classic onrai.
Yes, a quintessential vengeful spirit.
We hear that term onrai a lot in Japanese horror. Can you break down how Kasane Rui fits? Is she typical?
She is very typical in the sense that the onrai is almost always a woman who suffered terribly, betrayal, injustice, usually at the hands of men or a patriarchal system. Think Sadako from The Ring.
Okay.
Their rage and pain are so intense their souls just can't find peace. It lingers. What's really potent with the Kasane Rui is the visual, that disfigured face on the ghost.
The scar again?
Always the scar. It's the eternal mark of her agony, the betrayal she endured. In life, she was powerless. In death, as this terrifying ghost, she gains this incredible, fearsome agency.
And that scar, it connects both versions, whether it's from the Bachi or from birth. It really sticks with you. It feels so symbolic.
It's the unifying symbol of suffering. It makes the invisible force, whether it's Inga or social prejudice, terrifyingly visible. It literally etches the past onto the present and future.
Takes this abstract idea of a curse or fate
and brands it onto the body. You can't hide it. You can't ignore it. The pain is right there on her face for everyone to see, generation after generation. It's incredibly powerful imagery.
So that dramatic version, the one with the scar and the Inga, it might have just stayed a creepy old story, but then a particular storyteller got hold of it.
Right. The legendary Rakugo master, Sanyute Ensho. His performance in 1859 really cemented this version in the popular imagination.
Rakugo being that traditional comedic storytelling, but this sounds pretty grim.
It often is comedic, but Rakugo masters also perform serious dramatic tales, ghost stories called keidan. And Shu took Kasane-ga-fuchi and elevated it, made it high drama that appealed across society.
And his title for it, Shinkei Kasane-ga-fuchi. There's something clever going on there, isn't there? A pun.
Oh, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Shinkei can mean true view, as in this is the real supernatural story.
Okay, the definitive ghost story.
But Shinkas is also a perfect homophone for another word, Shinkai, which was pretty new then, borrowed from Western medicine in the Meiji era.
Meaning nerves.
Nerves, like psychological.
Exactly. So NCAS creates this title that works on two levels. For the traditional folks, it's a true view of a haunting. For the modern, scientifically minded Meiji elite,
it could be Shinkabish, a nervous disorder, hallucinations brought on by guilt.
Precisely. Shinkeichi's inherited guilt manifesting as psychological breakdown. It was genius marketing, really. It let the story appeal to believers and skeptics. It bridged the gap between folklore and the emerging field of psychology.
Which probably explains why it survived and adapted so well.
Absolutely. It ensured its longevity.
And that dual nature, supernatural dread plus psychological horror, translates perfectly to movies. We see it in classics like Nobuo Nakagawa's 1957 film.
A masterpiece of atmosphere.
And even Hideo Nakata, the director of Ringu, The Ring, did a version in 2007. Yeah, the story just keeps finding new ways to haunt us. But maybe the most radical reinvention came much more recently with the manga series Kasane.
Ah, right. That ran from 2013 to 2018. How did it adapt the story for today?
Well, it keeps the name, the core idea of ugliness and its burden, but it completely changes the mechanism of the curse. No Edo period, no samurai.
So who is the modern Kasane?
Kasane-ga-fuchi. She's depicted as incredibly ugly, but she possesses phenomenal acting talent. Her mother, a famous actress, dies and leaves her, well, not a ghost, but a magical tube of lipstick.
Lipstick. Okay, that's different.
Very. If she applies the lipstick and kisses someone, she can literally steal their face and wear it for a period of time.
Whoa. Steal their face.
Temporarily. So she uses it to put her talent behind the beautiful face of another, less talented actress. It's her path to stardom built on deception.
So the name Kasane layering, overlapping becomes literal. She's layering faces.
Exactly. The horror shifts. It's not a ghost haunting her. It's the crushing psychological weight of being deemed ugly in our image-obsessed world. It becomes about ambition, identity theft, exploitation. Wow. It's a terrifyingly effective update. It proves that the story's core anxiety, what monstrous things people do when judged solely on appearance, when deemed unworthy, that's utterly timeless, it still resonates. Hashtag tag outro. So when you kind of pull back and look at both these streams, Kasane-ga-fuchi really taps into two huge primal fears, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
First, there's that terror of inherited fate. The horrifying idea that you're paying for sins you didn't commit, that your life is basically doomed from the start because of your ancestors. Right. But then there's the other fear from that older folk version, which might actually be, well, more uncomfortable.
The terror of social predation. The fear that your own community, the people around you, could be so prejudiced, so cruel, that they decide you're not worth protecting, that they literally stand by and watch you be destroyed. That really forces you, the listener, to think about where the real monstrosity lies. Is it the ghost or is it us?
Exactly. And the curse itself, it operates almost like a disease, doesn't it? A pathology.
Oh, how do you mean?
Well, whether you see it as actual karmic retribution or as psychological illness born from guilt, like with Shinkichi, or even as this deep social corruption poisoning a whole village, the horror of Kasane-ga-fuchi in all its forms is this idea of an inescapable corrupting sickness, a malady that just infects and destroys everything and everyone it touches.